Hi, I'm Andrew Young. I grew up in the Deep South in Pensacola area of Florida until high school, and from high school on, I was in Birmingham, Alabama. I'm currently a supervisory special agent with the FBI, as well as the director of the New Mexico Regional Computer Forensics Laboratory here in Albuquerque, New Mexico. In a few months, I will be stepping down to do the actual digital forensics work here at the lab as a digital forensics examiner. On a typical day, say we get a call and one of the investigators has asked us to go out on scene and assist them with a search. So, what is a search? That is a search warrant. So, they have probable cause to believe that a particular subject has committed a certain crime. So, we show up on scene and the investigators will go and they will clear the house. And when I say clear the house, that means make it safe so that there are no dangers or anything like that. And then we will go in with the investigator. We'll walk around the house and we'll identify all of the various digital devices. There's a thumb drive here. There's a DVR CCTV there. We have a desktop computer here, laptop, tablet. Here are some CDs. You name it. Anything that's digital, we will identify, and then we will work with the investigator to say, okay, based off of whatever violation that they are suspected of doing, what devices do we need to collect as a result of that? And then they will bring that out to us. We usually show up. We have what's known as a mobile laboratory, so we can basically take all of our computers and tools and things like that with us on the road, which is really nice. And so they can bring those out to us, and we can go through and look at it in a forensically sound manner and do what's known as a preview. And we can say, yes, this looks like it might have some evidence on it. We're going to take it back with us. This one does not. Let's leave this in the house, so on and so forth. And so after we do that, we'll run various tools. We call it processing, various processing tools. And then after that completes, we'll take a look at the results. And so what does that mean? So if it's a financial crime, we'll probably want to look at Word documents, PDF documents, and things like that to see, okay, is there anything in here that substantiates that? If it was, say, a murder and it was captured on a DVR CCTV, then we'll be looking through videos and things like that. And so what we're looking for depends on the particular crime. And that can be everything from web history to, as I mentioned, documents, pictures, videos, any type of file there is on a computer we can view, and that processing software helps us to do so. And at that point, we go through and we look and say, is there potential evidence here that indicates that the subject did X, Y, and Z? If no, that's great. And we put out the report and give it back to the investigator. The answer is yes. We indicate what those particular items are. We put them in a digital report, and we also give them a printed report as well. So that's the role of a digital forensic examiner, just to give you kind of a very broad idea. As the director, what I do is I manage the lab here, and I manage those type of requests. Someone needs a search warrant done, and I say, okay, and find the resources here to accommodate that. We take care of the requests that come in and farm those out to the various examiners here. I talk with investigators a lot of times. They say, hey, I've got this strange case, and it's got this weird digital media. Is this something you can handle? And I look at it and say, oh, yeah, that's one of our specialties. We'll be happy to come out and help you with that. Another thing that I would do, because this is a task force and there are a lot of various state and local agencies involved with it, and federal agencies as well, is I serve as a liaison, and I talk with all of our partners and build relationships and those sort of things. We do a lot of, when I say we, myself, and we also have a deputy director here as well, we do a lot of outreach, and we communicate to agencies the services that we can bring to them. And we also offer free training. So when it comes to digital evidence and you find it on scene, what do you do with it? And so we provide that kind of training to our law enforcement partners, and we do it here at our lab. We have a training facility here at our lab. And we also have a roadshow that will go out to various locations and provide this information to them there as well. And so I do all of those sorts of things. I keep in regular contact with our main office with the FBI and handle all of the things that are going on there. And basically any type of media for the RCFL, I'll manage those sort of things. And so it's generally a supervisory role here and the management of the lab in general. And so that's what I would do on a day-to-day basis as well. So my pathway to my current position, as well as digital forensics, was a little bit long. I went to college my freshman year, like many folks do, and I picked a major just to pick a major because I had no idea what I wanted to do. And after my first year, I decided, I don't know where I'm going with this. I need to kind of learn and decide what field I want to get into. And as a result of that, I decided it would be best to take a year off from college and just look at various things, which I did. I observed surgery. I did construction work. I tried landscaping. I sat in a school room with the teacher and interviewed teachers and various and all sorts of different things that I experimented with and talked with folks and to see what really interested me. During this year, I found out that I really enjoyed working with and learning about computers. And the more I worked with them and the more I learned, the more I enjoyed it. And so I realized that this is the direction I wanted to go. As a result, I went back to college and started taking all the computer science courses and things like that. I hired on to my first job, which was with Bell South, and they had a very strong IT department. And so I was very fortunate to have a very strong start there. And I worked in their desktop arena for a short while. And so during that time, I created what's known as the standard load or base load for all the computers that went out to the 120,000 users. I was also the top tier for the tech support, did a little bit of network management, and a few other small things here and there. And then I transitioned to the wide area network side of things, where I was working with routers, network capacity management planning, things like that. And it gave me a very good firm foundation in information technology. Around that time, 9/11 happened, and I realized I wanted to have a job where I contributed even more to society and really wanted to help people. And I thought the FBI would be a good route to go. So I applied to the FBI and was accepted from my technical background. And from that, I was put into the cyber path. And my first location, though, because it was so small, I worked a variety of different investigations. I worked cyber investigations, but also worked several other different types of investigations as well. So I had a very broad base of different types of violations, different types of investigations, and it gave me a good law enforcement addition to my IT background. And so that was good. From there, I made a few other jumps here and there before I had landed in this current position. And I'm about to step down and work digital forensics for a third time before I retire in just under 3 years, because it's probably my favorite job I've ever had in my entire life. And I can't wait to get started doing it again. There were a lot of things in high school that helped prepare me for my current position. And there are a lot of things that I wish I'd done differently, hindsight always being 2020. I can remember back, I think it was my senior year, they handed out a test. And the test basically asked a bunch of questions about your interests and things that you like. And from that, it would take and match that up to various careers and things that you might want to pursue professionally. And when my test came back, it said, basically, you're not interested in anything. We have nothing to recommend to you. And that should have been a wake-up call to me saying, you don't know where you're going with your life. This is something you might want to figure out. There were a lot of other things. For example, I took a computer literacy test, a computer literacy class while I was there. And it was basically a programming class. And from that, it was a fun class. I enjoyed it, but it didn't really resonate with me as something that I would like to do for a career. And I found out later when I was studying computers that, there was more to it than just programming. And so likewise, if you think computers or networking is the way to go, then, and as you're taking classes or looking at things and it's not really your forte, don't give up the entire field altogether, because there's several different areas that you can get involved with in computers and networks that are completely unrelated to each other. Believe it or not, one of the classes at the time that I didn't think was very valuable, I took a typewriting class. I think now it's called keyboarding. It's one of the things that, looking back, it was one of the most valuable classes I could have taken in high school because I used it every single day in my job. Likewise, I think you'll probably find the same thing, because every day you're sending emails, you're writing documents, so on and so forth. You're at a keyboard, and being able to do so quickly and efficiently is a great skill to have. So I would highly encourage, if you're going, even not in computers, everyone uses computers nowadays. So I think a keyboarding class is invaluable for everyone to take. When I'm looking at some skills and things like that in high school, I look back and I see that I was not so motivated when I was in high school. I didn't like the hard work, and I tried everything I could do to get around it. Thankfully, I had teachers in a school system and parents that pushed me in that direction, whether I wanted to go or not. And so what that ended up looking like from an academic standpoint is I ended up taking a lot of these challenging courses in high school. I took more academic classes than the electives and things like that. And as a result, when I got to college, it ended up not being too hard at all. And so I think that, and it's not just in the academics, it was, the parents have me get out, clean the house, do yard work, manual labor, and learn how to work hard. And so at the time you're doing it, you don't like it. It's no fun. And you don't realize, though, that when you're older and you're looking back, it makes the rest of life so much easier, to the point now that, I enjoy taking classes. I enjoy learning. I enjoy manual labor. And it's easy for me now because I put in the effort way back when. And so I think the thing that you're going to find is the hard work and effort you put in now in high school is going to pay dividends for the rest of your life. I mentioned all of the hard work and the successes that I did to get me in the position where I am now. One of the things I did not mention was all the failures that took to get me here as well. And so one of the things that you will inevitably come into are failures. And it's not a matter of if you will or how it happens, it's what you do when that does happen. Realize that failure is a part of the process as much as the successes.